The training field of Outpost Helion 6 buzzed with the sharp scent of ozone and the hum of anti-gravity shields. Veteran soldiers, alien cadets, and a handful of elite humans gathered under the blistering light of the binary suns. Today was the interspecies marksmanship trial, a rite of passage feared even by battle-hardened warriors. Among the lineup stood Rose Halden, a slim human girl barely past 20, her auburn braid tucked neatly under her tactical collar. Her rifle rested at her feet, an old matte black Terran precision weapon with adjustable rails, carbon spine barrel, and a scope that looked almost antique compared to the sleek plasma marks of the alien shooters beside her. Next to her towered giants, scaled Varkune hunters with crystal rifles, tri-armed Zalorians with pulse-range accelerators, and shimmering Nilithians who shot using pure psionic resonance. And then there was James Ward, the only other human in the competition, broad-shouldered, calm, observant. He gave Rose a supportive nod, but most of the field didn't bother hiding their smirks, because no one believed Rose belonged there, not with that rifle, not with that tiny frame, not in a galaxy where humans were still called the soft species. A Zalorian cadet snickered loudly, pointing at her weapon. Primitive optics, metallic chamber, zero smart assist. Does she plan to throw it at the target? His squad burst into laughter. Even a Nilithian, beings known for elegance and kindness, tilted her head in confusion. Is the human girl experimenting with old technology? Rose ignored them all. She kneeled, calmly adjusting each dial with the precision of a surgeon. Her movements were small, quiet, deliberate, almost meditative. James leaned slightly toward her. "You good?" She smiled. "Just breathing." At the far end of the training grounds, the instructor floated forward on a grav platform. He was a towering, silver-eyed Tarsian general named Instructor Valor, a legend whispered about in every corner of the outer colonies. His voice boomed across the field. "You will fire on 50 targets. Distance, variable, movement, unpredictable. Conditions, randomized. No artificial aids permitted." A wave of panic rippled through the alien cadets. "What? No smart aim? That's impossible." But Rose's eyes brightened. Now everyone else was at her disadvantage. Valor drifted closer, stopping right behind her. His voice dropped low, barely audible. "Only snipers," he whispered, as if the words were meant only for her. "Only those who understand patience and breath will pass this trial." Rose didn't look up. She simply said, "Yes, instructor." The trial began. The sirens wailed. 50 holographic drones burst into motion, zigzagging, teleporting, cloaking, spinning through impossible geometric paths. The first shot rang out. Crack. But it wasn't Rose's. The Varkune fired his plasma rifle. Miss. Smoke hissed from his barrel. The Zalorian trio coordinated their pulse accelerators. Miss. 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 The Nilithian psionic bolt veered off mid-flight. But Rose, hands steady, lifted her rifle, sighted through her old Terran optic, and let her breath fall into perfect rhythm. 1 heartbeat. 2. 3. Crack. A drone exploded instantly. Perfect center mass. The aliens blinked. She fired again. Crack. Another drone down, then another, then 5 in a row. James was holding his own, but Rose was on a different level. Her rifle didn't glow. It didn't hum. It didn't sync with her neural chip. It simply obeyed her hands, her breath, her discipline. General Valor watched with unhidden satisfaction. The Zalorians panicked and switched firing modes. Their pulse rifles overheated, forcing them to drop their weapons. The Nilithians' crystal focus cracked under pressure. But Rose adjusted her elevation by a fraction, compensated for wind shift, read the drone's oscillation patterns like she was reciting a poem. Her eyes were calm, her heartbeat slow. She lived in the space between seconds. Crack, crack, crack. Targets fell like rain, and the field went silent. The last 10 targets. These were different, faster, smarter, cloaking unpredictably. Most shooters gave up. James clenched his jaw and kept going, but even he struggled to land consistent hits. Rose switched her rifle mode manually, something no modern soldier bothered to learn. She adjusted her bullet density, altered the firing chamber pressure, and calculated distances without a single digital assist. Then she lowered her rifle, not to surrender, but to listen. To the wind, to the hum of the moving targets, to the pulse of the training ground mechanisms. James glanced at her. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Counting." On the next rotation of her internal rhythm, she snapped her rifle to her shoulder and fired 10 rounds in under 8 seconds. Crack, 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 crack. Every drone burst mid-flight. Dead silence. The field froze. Instructor Valor exhaled, a sound that echoed like metal scraping stone. He raised his hand toward the scoreboard. Rose Halden, 50-50, James Ward, 36-50, all other species, failing scores. Gasps spread like ripples in water. The Zalorian, who had mocked her earlier, dropped to one knee in disbelief. She used a primitive weapon with perfect accuracy? The Nilithian touched her forehead, overwhelmed. "Humans, you are terrifying." Aftermath. The cadets gathered around her, awe replacing arrogance. James grinned. "Told them." Rose wiped her rifle, calm as always. "It's just practice." But Instructor Valor approached her with slow, reverent steps. "There was a time," he said, "when the galaxy believed humans were fragile, emotional, impulsive, ill-equipped for war." He touched her rifle lightly. "But the truth is, humans carry something far more dangerous than advanced technology." Rose looked up, meeting his silvery gaze. "And what is that?" He smiled. "You adapt, you learn, and you endure." Then, leaning closer so only she could hear, "Only snipers understand this universe in its purest form. And today, Rose Halden, you reminded every species why humans are feared." James placed a proud hand on her shoulder. Rose simply nodded, quietly accepting the weight of her victory. Around them, aliens whispered, "HFY, humans, fear them, or follow them." On that day, the galaxy learned something important. You can mock a human's tools, but never, never underestimate the human using them.